How you doing, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I'm bringing you my fights in the last Xbox One Dark Souls 3 PvP community tournament, which was actually hosted by the Gameconomist, and this tournament will actually be on his channel. I will provide a link to the full tournament in the description below once the Gameconomist has uploaded it, but I thought I would share my fights in the tournament as well, so you guys can get my perspective on the fights also. Now, in the first match here, I come up against Mystic Zargo, who is actually Seojin on the Discord, one of the top PC players who has actually made the move to the Xbox for this particular tournament. So that was pretty damn cool. I thought him joining and bringing some of that PC flair, although obviously it's a lot more difficult for a PC player to play on console, especially at not being used to 30 FPS. But Zargo here brought the washing pole, which was a very smart idea here using the mace, and I do think he was looking to capitalise on the fact that I lack quite a bit of reach, but for me it was about baiting out those hyper armor trades with the mace, like you see there, to get out those 2-hit combos. Now, the great thing about the mace, which I've mentioned before, is the fact that it is a great defensive weapon. Now, you can play semi-aggressively with the mace, but it's not really recommended, in my opinion, to do a lot of the time. Sure, it's fine to do when you're putting pressure on your opponent a little bit, but it's far better to use the mace defensively and instead bait out those hyper armor trades. Now, Zargo here switched up to a straight sword and board, which is a very good tactic in my opinion here against the mace, because basically now it gives him the opportunity to just turtle, forcing me to actually go for the approach. And as I just mentioned, the mace doesn't have a very strong approach. Sure, you can go in for perseverance running attacks, but because of the mace's lack of range, it's a bit difficult to actually judge your distance sometimes, and it's very easy for your opponent to just punish those whiffs. Now, I will say though, and it's something that the Gameconomist actually mentioned in his commentary of the tournament as well, is the good thing about the mace here is that it has quite a bit of phantom range as well. And on top of that, you should be treating the mace like a greatsword, when you go to space its attacks essentially, so you'll do see that come in handy here for a few of my matches where the extra phantom range of the mace actually came in handy for me to get some hits out. There you go, excellent punish there by Zargo. As you can see, if I misjudge that running attack there with the mace, I do get punished quite easily. Switch out to the plow here just to put in a little bit of pressure on Zargo a bit more effectively than with the mace. But excellent spacing here by Zargo. He can see what I'm trying to do and he's just spacing me very effectively here, looking for an opportunity to punish a mistake on my part. Now, I will say that I have both the mace and the plow dark infused, so we can chip through these Black Knight shield setups. And because Zargo actually has quite a health difference here, he doesn't have much health. He can't actually turtle as effectively as he could if he had a lot more health here. And the chip damage from the dark infused weapons definitely is going to help. So it's not much chip damage, as you saw there, it was 61 with the plow one-handed, but because Zargo has, he doesn't have much health left, it does actually play into my chances of victory here, guys, because he can't turtle as effectively as he normally could. And I like what Zargo's trying to do here. He's using the shield to approach me, to bait out either some panic rolls so he can roll catch me, or to bait out just some R1 spam. Now, normally if he does have more health on his side, he could just, put that shield up and, tank my R1 spam and pivot behind me and go for a backstab. So I do think that Zargo here was trying to look for a backstab, so that's why I was trying to roll out when he approached with that shield up, as I didn't want to get caught in a backstab or get roll caught. So I try and roll at least twice when I see someone approach like that, which reduces their chances to actually roll catch me if I were to only roll once. So again, looking for that backstab. So that's pretty much what I thought he was doing. He was looking for that backstab. So that really confirmed it there for me. So without playing evasively here and looking for an opportunity to you know, trade with the plow, seeing as I have such a big health advantage, or even with the mace here, guys, I could have gone for another hyper armor trade as well. Straight into his weapon art there. It's just one more poke. Good game there, Mystic. Alrighty guys, so we have the second round of the first match here, and Mystic is now actually switched out to the Astora Ultra Greatsword, which in my opinion I think was a smart move, because you can obviously see that I'm looking to hyper armor trade with the mace, which was easy to do against his fast weapon options, but now I would have to get my perseverance timing correct to be able to trade with the Astora. So it's two things that I need to think about, and I should have rolled there, guys. As you saw, even though on my screen it looked like I had spaced that attack, it still hit me, and that's obviously due to a bit of latency. So when you do factor in latency, that 1 or 2 second delay, there are attacks that you know, you should be able to space on your screen which actually still hit you. So in those actual situations, I do think it's a good idea for you to actually just roll. So in that instance, when Zargo went for that running attack, I should have actually rolled instead to be able to avoid that hit. Instead I copped it. I did manage to get a couple of hits out there in retaliation, but as you can see, I took some big damage from that Astora. Nice little running attack there with the mace. But I do get clipped here by that offhand S-Talk, which is an interesting choice there for Zargo as an offhand utility weapon. Almost got that backstab. Now as you can see, the dynamic in this fight is a lot different. I'm really on the defensive here, and I'm struggling to get my perseverance hyper armor trade timing correct here, guys. As you can see, Zargo's playing very passively, and he's not very predictable on his approach, unfortunately, which makes it even more difficult for me to time those perseverance trades. Now, I try and bait him into the perseverance here, but Zargo is having none of that. Managed to get out a blue Estus there. Now again, with the rules of the tournament, I'm pretty sure that you could either choose to have Tears of Denial or use your Ashen Estus. So I opted for having my Ashen Estus instead, just in case if I needed to use Perseverance. So that's why I'm not running Tears on this particular build, and instead I just opted for High Vigor. Now you'll notice there in that exchange, Zargo actually did get staggered on his running attack there with the Astora, which means that, you know, for me personally, I can see there that Zargo is not poise optimized with that Astora, at least for those running attacks. Because as you know, guys, running attacks, you do more poise damage, but you actually have less poise health. So at least in terms of his running attacks, I knew he was going to stagger if I timed, you know, just a regular two-handed R1 from the mace. I mean, we'd both stagger, but at least I knew he wasn't going to be able to get out his two-hit combos. Now I switch out to the plow here, guys, looking to whiff punish the Astora or try and hit it outside of active frames, and as you can see, I did get a couple of hits out there. So I'm just trying to keep Zargo pressured in that corner now with the plow. Switching out to the Black Knight Shield again. And personally, in hindsight, I do think that Zargo should have probably used the Black Knight Shield and Straight Sword from the beginning of this second round, and you know, just played that passive turtle that he was going at the end of that first round there, guys. I really think that that probably would have been a lot more effective than using the Astora, even though it's quite close here at the end anyway. And good game. Alright guys, so second match of the tournament, and here I come up against Life is Worthless, bringing a classic sword and board meta setup to the match here today. So straight away, Life approaching with the shield up and going very aggressively, but I managed here to get a hyper armor trade against him using the mace. So basically for me, it was about trying to time Life's approach to my hyper armor with the mace so I can get out my 2-hit combos. So again, it's just playing to the strengths of the mace, as you can see there, which is hyper armor trading when you play very defensively instead of aggressively, especially against a turtle who can really whip punish you quite appropriately or quite effectively. Now I do get caught there by Life, a lot of pressure on his part with the straight sworded board. I do think though that he probably could have done a lot better here if he just turtled. Just played passively and turtled, and instead forced me to approach with the mace. I think I would have been a lot easier to punish that way. And he's doing that now, so as you can see he's turtling up there and he's trying to force me to approach so he can try and either get a backstab or, as you can see there, roll catch me. So that's why I said last time it's a good thing to always roll twice, because when you just roll once, you're basically inviting your opponent to actually roll catch you, especially when they do have a turtle. And as you can see, if I had just kept pressing R1 there, guys, that would have been a free backstab for Life. So for me here, when he is approaching with that Black Knight shield up, I try and just avoid it by rolling out, because for me it looks like he's either trying to punish my rolls, or he's looking to get behind me for a backstab, which I can definitely see him try to do there. So I've switched back over to the mace, and as you can see I'm playing very passively again. Switched out to the crossbow there just for a little bit of chip damage. Not much, only 10, but you know, it's something different. It's about your mix-ups. So now Life knows that I also have that crossbow there, so I can pull out at any time to try and get a free aim. Very close match here, guys. Life is still piling on that pressure, even with such little health, which is pretty awesome. And as you can see there, again, Life going for that approach, either going for those roll catches or to try and get behind me for a backstab, as you can see there. So for me, it's just about evading that. So it's about rolling out and trying to reassert your neutral space. Alright guys, so now it is the second match, or sorry, the second round of the second match against Life is Worthless here, and now he's opted for a weapon buff at the beginning there. I think it looks like human pine resin, so I try and counter that with a dual charm, but I didn't really, you know, my aim was a little bit off, so I thought, you know, who cares, screw it, you know, I'll just continue the fight instead of worrying about, you know, free aiming my dual charms there. And as you can see, Life is playing a lot more passive here in this second match, or second round I should say. So again, he's going for that approach, either looking to roll catch or to get behind me for a backstab. But as you can see, as soon as I reassert that neutral space on my side and get my hyper armor timing correct, I can actually meet my hyper armor with his approach. So that running attack there was a free 2-hit combo for my mace. And Life there just stopping with that shield up. I think here in this particular section he was trying to bait me into a running attack to try and whip punish me. So I switched out to the plow there real quick, just for, you know, a little bit of a stronger running attack than the mace, obviously. So very good spacing here by Life. He's just turtling up and looking for an opportunity to whiff punish me, given that, you know, I don't have very good range on my approach here with the mace. And you'll notice he's actually rolling out here instead of tanking too many hits because of the chip damage. Now I do manage to punish his second buff there, which is great, but I do get whip punish there. As you can see, all it takes is just a miscalculation of my reach, and I can get whip punish very easily, especially by a straight sword. And I'm just looking for that last hyper armor trade here, guys. It's basically all I'm going for, is looking for that last trade for the win here, guys. And Okay, so now we're moving on to the semi-finals here, guys, and I am fighting Dr. Doombot and his Pontiff Knight Curved Sword setup. Now, as you saw there, guys, with the rules of this tournament, there are no free buffs, so I thought to free aim my crossbow as soon as that Dung Pie went out so I could punish Doombot's cast of Tears of Denial, which is something that I will be doing constantly here with him, is to try and punish him at the start of a match, you know, while he's trying to cast those tears. So I think here with the Pontiff Knight Curved Sword, I was looking just again to bait it into Hyper Armor trades. And as you can see, it's a lot more difficult to do because it's quite a fast weapon, especially that running attack with the Pontiff Knight Curved Sword. It is very difficult to actually time that running attack with a Hyper Armor trade, but not impossible. It just depends on how predictable your opponent is in approaching you and if they're actually feigning attacks a lot instead. So if someone is actually pretending to approach you a lot, it's quite difficult to time a Hyper Armor trade. But as you can see there, it's all I needed for that win. Alrighty guys, so second round of the semi-finals here. And again, Doombot opening with the Pontiff Knight Curved Sword, and I managed here to time a Hyper Armor trade with his running attack, which is basically how you play the mace in my opinion. It's just playing defensively and baiting people into that Hyper Armor. So it's all about getting your timing right. Again, it's very difficult to do, and as you saw there, I had to roll out instead of going for that trade because obviously my Hyper Armor wouldn't have started quick enough for me to actually trade, and that would have been a free running attack on Doom's part. Again, like I mentioned at the start of the video, the mace does have the advantage of that Phantom Rage. So basically, Doom should be looking here to, I mean, if I'm close to him, he should be looking to roll my attacks instead of trying to space them every time, I think. As you know, you can't guarantee that he's actually safely away a lot of the time. Now you'll see he brought out the Marion Blade there, guys, so he's looking to up his damage here at low health. So I've got to be very careful about my timing. I do not want to cop free hits from running attacks. Managed to clip him there. Now I switch out to the plow and the crossbow, as I like that as a finisher. Alright guys, so we come to the third round of the semi-finals here against Doombot. So again, for me, it all comes down to baiting Doom into that Hyper Armor. But as you can see, he's adopted a little bit more of a passive approach here, as he realizes that I've gotten quite used to timing my Hyper Armor into his running attack. Now, I tried to use the same trick I used in the previous round, which was use a Green Blossom at a safe distance enough to then bait Doom into a running attack, so I can get out my Hyper Armor trade. But he didn't fall for it that time. A lot better with the spacing there, Doom, as well, just either avoiding my attacks or instead rolling them, as I mentioned in the previous round, which is always a good idea, especially when you factor in stuff like, you know, Phantom Range, basically as how the Gameconomist described the mace now, basically has great sword range, and also when you factor in stuff like latency as well, it's a good idea to roll a lot of the time instead of just rely on basic spacing, but it just depends on the weapon also and how much latency you're getting on your screen. And as you saw there, guys, I mistimed an attack there, a swing with the mace, and Doom capitalized on that so effectively there. He got out like, what, 3 or 4 swings, and as you can see, he's got a massive health advantage now on me. So with your poise builds, guys, with your trading build, the less health you actually have, obviously, the less effective trading actually becomes. So as you can see, I did manage to get a trade out there, but the trade-off is actually not in my favor because I've lost even more health now. So trading for me becomes less and less viable here now in this match, which is why I switched out to the plow instead, just to get a little bit of a reach advantage here against Doom. now he's going very aggressive, so instead I switch out to the mace here to try and clip him as I did there, or go for a hyper armor trade. So now we're a little bit more even here with the health, so trading is in my favor, at least for now. Excellent spacing there by Doom. Should have rolled that firebomb there. And again, I thought I was out of its range just by spacing it, and I should have taken my own advice there, guys. I should have just rolled it. Managed to clip him there with the plow. A very close match. Nice roll catch there by Doom. Almost over. Pontiff Knight Curve Sword is just so damn good at those roll catches. And fireballs to the face. Great win there, Doom. Alright guys, so now we come to round 4 of the semi-finals, and Doom's actually now switched out to the washing pole, similar to how Mystic Zargo chose to approach me at the start. But as soon as I brought out that Black Knight shield and the plow, Doombot actually switched back to the Pontiff Knight Curve Sword. Now obviously I don't have enough endurance here, or I don't have as much endurance I should say as a turtle, so turtling isn't as effective for me. But in terms of something like the washing pole, having the Black Knight shield and the plow I think is an effective counter, because basically with the washing pole your opponent is looking to approach you with a running attack. And how often does a washing pole user follow up that running attack with a second? Not very often. So usually, you know, in that particular scenario, I like to block and turtle poke a running attack from a washing pole, which is what I was looking to do there before Doom actually switched back out to the Pontiff Knight Curve Sword. Using that Perseverance there to either go for Perseverance R1s or to get behind me for a backstab. A nice little move here that I've seen a lot of players use lately, especially in ladders and tournaments. And now, as you can see guys, I am not taking any chances. I'm rolling every single firebomb that Doom throws at me. Rolling twice, looking for an opportunity for a hyper armor trade. Great spacing there by Doom. Almost a roll catch. That would have been some big damage there, guys. Managed to clip him there with the mace. As you can see there, I got my hyper armor timing incorrect, and that's all it takes. You mistime your hyper armor, guys, and you don't get that combo out. It's a free hit for your opponent, especially with a weapon as fast as the Pontiff Knight Curve Sword. Firebombs again there. Excellent whiff punish there by Doom. So as you can see, it's that easy for the Pontiff Knight Curve Sword to actually assert dominance. I mean, it is a meta weapon, so it's a very unfavourable matchup for me here. So I mean, if I mistime my hyper armor, free hit and there I got it right, which is great. It brought me back in the game a little bit in terms of health. Yeah, you just got to be very careful about not overcommitting here, guys, with a hyper armor weapon. Going for that Perseverance there. Perseverance approach, very scary. Now I could probably use my own Perseverance here to counteract that, which is something I probably should have done, but I just prefer avoiding it, to be honest. And there you have it, guys. Good game. Alright guys, and now we have the finals of the tournament here today, and Doombot actually in the losing bracket fought all his way back up to fight me in the finals again, which is pretty damn awesome. So he had a couple of fights in the losing bracket and actually managed to defeat his opponents there very easily, and came back at me here for a crack at the finals, which was pretty damn awesome. So again, I'm coming up against a very strong Pontiff Knight Curve Sword meta setup, so it's going to be quite the challenge. Doom coming on very strong here in the beginning, getting his timing absolutely perfect. And look at that damage. I mean, look how much of a health advantage Doombot already has. So now I've adopted a very passive stance here, guys, looking to capitalize on punishing Doom for, his running attacks, just trying to get him to fall into my hyper armor. There. So that's basically, that's the way to do it, guys. When you have an opponent that is rushing you, it's about timing your hyper armor trades into that approach. Obviously, you have to make sure that you're poise optimized, otherwise you'll get staggered and you won't be able to get out that 2-hit combo. But if you are poise optimized, the mace is obviously a lot faster than an ultra weapon, so it's a little bit easier to time your hyper armor trades against fast weapons than it would be, say, for example, if I was using an ultra greatsword. It's a lot harder to time that hyper armor trade. Playing very passively there, which is the smart way to go about it when you are fighting a defensive weapon like the mace. Managed to clip him there, and now I switch out to the plow and the crossbow, which I like to use as a finisher here, guys. And unfortunately there, Doom fell off the arena. Alright guys, so round 2 of the finals here today, going up against Doombot's Pontiff Knight Curved Sword. And for me, the strategy just remains the same. It's just getting used to timing my hyper armor into Doombot's attacks. So I mucked it up there, but normally I try and time my hyper armor into his running attacks for some hyper armor trades. Great spacing there by Doom. Punching there. So as you can see, guys, if I'm not confirming with that first hit, going for a second one isn't really worth it, as it's an easy whiff punish for your opponent, especially when they're using something like a curved sword, which is very quick, and the Pontiff Knight Curved Sword especially has excellent range. So Doombot just missed out on that weapon art there, which is good for us because that would have been some big damage. There you have it. That's what I want, guys. I want Doom's running attacks to walk into my hyper armor. So it's about playing very patiently with the mace and taking advantage of its defensive capabilities. Again there, guys, baiting that running attack into the hyper armor. And good game. Alright guys, so round 3 of the finals here today, and here we go. Doombot opening with that Perseverance, going for those running attacks, or trying to get behind me for that backstab. Now in hindsight, I should have used my own Perseverance here to counter that, but instead I just avoid it. Now what I tried to do as well is try and hit that Perseverance once and roll away, which is normally what you try and do against Perseverance anyway, but Doombot is so good at his punishing here, guys. He is just punishing my whips, and look how much damage he's gotten out on me already. I did manage to get one hyper armor trade out, but now it's looking pretty bad for me. Going for that backstab there. And as you can see, I adopted that one hit and roll away to deal with that Perseverance, which is something that I attempt here again. Almost got him for a 2-hit combo there. Doombot should have rolled out there. So again, Perseverance, one hit and roll away, which is what I was talking about earlier. If you're quick enough to get that Perseverance, you can get one hit safely out on it and roll away before your opponent has a chance to hit you. Very close match here, guys. Excellent spacing there by Doom. Now I've switched out to the plow there just for a bit of a mix-up. A little bit of a cheeky mix-up there. And good game. Alright guys, so we come to the final round of the finals here today. Doombot's actually switched out now to the washing pole, so I've adopted the Black Knight shield plow setup so I can do a bit of damage with those shield pokes. Just got to be very careful here because I don't have the stamina of a turtle. Nice little poke there. As you can see here, I went for that shield poke, but I went for 2 shield pokes instead because I'm an idiot and I ran out of stamina, so I got punished at the end. But normally you just want to tank one running attack there and go for 1 shield poke and then roll away, which is what I should have done. And I should have rolled out against that running attack there as I was moving across the side of the arena. Instead of spacing it, as I mentioned before, because of latency, I should have rolled out, so that was a free attack there by Doom. And as you can see, it's very close here at the moment with Doom having a slight advantage there with his health. But again, I've gotten very used to timing my hyper armor with the washing pole running attack. So good game. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. It was an awesome tournament, a lot of fun here today. I'd like to thank all the participants as we had some awesome matches. And on top of that, I'd like to thank the Gameconomist for hosting and also for Life for actually organising the tournament. Also, I had a lot of fun. Now, I don't know what Doric was trying to do here. You know, he was just... I think he just wanted to fight, so we went for a little bit of a playful fight here. He was using his tears, etc. Now, the great thing about Doric here is he mains that Greatsword, Ultra Greatsword very effectively. And I've always wanted to fight him with another big poise weapon. As you can see here, I'm using the mace, so it's not a very favourable situation for me in terms of trading. And we almost did actually have our fight on the ladder before Doric actually left to focus again on his channel, as obviously the ladder does take up a lot of your time. So unfortunately, we didn't get to fight using big poise weapons. But you know what, whatever. Thought we'd have a little bit of fun here. You know, mace versus the Gugs, which was not very good for me. As you can see, I muck up my perseverance. And my timing, and as you can see, it's a lot of damage there by the Guns. So I would really like to get the opportunity to fight the Gameconomist properly later on, using another big hyper armor weapon, so maybe 2 big swords, or maybe, you know, a great hammer or something like that. I think that would be absolutely awesome. So, you know, maybe we'll get to do that one day. But it was a lot of fun, guys, like I said, and thank you to all the participants and the host and also the tournament organizer. I had a lot of fun in this particular tournament. It was awesome. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you did, hit that like button and please subscribe if you're enjoying my content. Until next time.